hear the sound, you know it's outspoken. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Self-Spoken Law, and I got my two co-hosts with me today. OddwOrld, say what up.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy OddwOrld.
And I got my guy Brotegé, say what's good.
Yeah, boy, Brotegé in the building.
Alrighty, y'all. We're here. Season 1, episode 4, of course, and this is going to be a very New York-centric episode today.
Yes.
So, you know, unfortunately, I don't got my New York fitted with me. I don't got my Timbs with me, but, you know, I'm a rep New York in spirit, of course.
You're this guy, man.
Yeah. But it's been quite a while since we were last recording. I believe it's exactly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How you guys been?
I've been up and down, you know. Obviously, I think there's just reasons, busy reasons between all of us, but I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be talking about what we're talking about today.
Hell yeah. I've been good, roughly good. I had a few lows, I'm not gonna lie. A few lows, but that's a given.
Yeah.
But I'm good right now. I'm good. I'm just glad to be here. Just like I said, I feel good, man.
Yeah. I hope your week is going well.
Yeah.
Yes.
How are you guys doing today?
Have
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah,
Yes, have a positive, beautiful week.
Yep. Alrighty. Without further ado, I think we should just roll right into it.
Alright.
Nas, King's Disease 2, my favorite rapper, one of the best ever. You know, I was real excited to talk about As soon as the album came out, I was like, yo, we gotta talk about it. So, you know, that's
in my DMs immediately, like 12:01.
Made sure we knew that it came out.
It's funny because you know how songs and albums usually come out Friday night. It was Thursday night, and I was like, yo, what the hell is this album, son? Like, what's going on? And then my friend, he told me, yo, it's Thursday. And I was like, oh. So clearly I was fiending. Clearly.
Right.
But,
that's
so
man.
King's Disease 2, what are you guys' reaction? We're going to talk about the album in detail, but how'd you feel about it just off, like, first listen? Like, you want to start off?
I'll go. So first listen, I liked how it kept similarities to King's Disease 1. I did, because I listened to King's Disease 1 back when it came out. Because the only reason I listened to it was because of something he said about Doja Cat. And they started that whole little, that
quote-unquote beef.
Yeah, that wasn't really beef. But, like, when I heard the song, like, I was like, all right, I understand where he's coming from with the record, so I wanted to listen to the whole album.
Ultra Black.
Yeah, it was Ultra Black. So then it made me listen to the entire album. I thought it was dope. I thought it was really dope. So now listening to this one, I'm glad he kept the same energy as the first, if not maybe a little better. And he just, like, a lot of records really did hit me, especially one that we're gonna get into it a little bit. Like woo!
We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's your thoughts?
I think as just someone who kind of, like, I hate to say it, but I don't listen to the new Nas albums as much as I listen to the old ones. Like, the old ones, I just love the old ones so much. Like,
those are classics.
Yeah, I go back to those all the time. But you know, if you take a look at my catalog, it's like only old Nas. Like, to be honest with you, I haven't kept up. Mm-hmm. So this is just me coming off of, based off of, I did listen to the one that he made with Kanye. That was the last Nas album I listened to. Mm-hmm. And what I'll say about this one is Nas did more of what he wanted to do on this album than, that album, at least, because that was a collab album, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I can say about this one is Nas did what he wanted to do. It sounded like a lot of times he was so, like, comfortable. He sounded so comfortable on this album. And I think that was a big thing with when Nas gets into his comfort zone, like, that's the best Nas. Yep. So I'm glad he was allowed to get into his comfort zone, and I'm glad that he was able to get the features that he wanted on this album. And some of those features are big, like,
features that I didn't really see coming.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The reason I enjoyed King's Disease 1 and 2 so much was the how polished it sound. Because one of Nas's biggest criticisms were always his adaptability. his beat choices and how he sounds in the modern era. A lot of people felt like he wasn't adapting properly. But on those albums, he was making modern sounding songs. He was on modern sounding beats. Credits to Hit Boy, of course. He produced all the songs for both albums.
If I may intervene, that kind of does sound like, you know, a lot of old artists who are trying to adapt into the new age. They do give him a lot of criticism for, like, you know, trying to sound as if we were back in the earlier 2000 era, and it's just, you know, a lot of the old artists do get their you know, they don't get their credibility for it until they, like, finally understand what's going on, capture it a little more, and they're like, yo, so if you want me to really adapt to it, I will, but I'm adapting to it in my own way, and, like, I respect that a lot. So it's just like I see why a lot of people get the criticism. I see where everybody stands. That's it. I just see where everybody stands at it.
Yeah, definitely, because the thing is, when you're from an era and then the music changes, sometimes if you do try to adapt, people may be like, yo, this don't sound like you, or you sound corny, or you sound like, you know, you don't sound right. But to me, Nas sounds right on both those albums. It doesn't sound forced, and like you said, he sounds so comfortable. He sounds like, yo, I've been in the game for over 2 decades now. Like, my spot is cemented, you know? Like, I'm a legend, I'm here, and even with the new stuff, I'm doing good. You hear me, I'm sounding good. So that's why I like these albums. So I think now would be a good time to talk about the project specifically.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He
wants to get into it.
I know he want to get into it, man. I do.
This is not a quote unquote album review, because I feel like that would take up more time if you had to go more depth into it. But I want to talk about a few specific songs. I believe 6 songs that caught my attention, and I wanted to talk about those songs with the guys. So first up, Death Row East. I feel like that was probably the most important song on the album, because he talked about an era that was before us, obviously, but we still had to learn about it to be knowledgeable in our field. The whole East Coast, West Coast beef, it was probably the biggest beef ever.
In hip-hop history,
a whole coast not messing with another coast. The 2 biggest coasts when you think about it. So how'd you guys feel about the track when you heard it? Is there anything he said that caught your attention specifically? Is there anything new that you learned?
You want to go first, though?
No, you go first on this. I gotta think. I'm gonna think a little bit about this one. I don't want to talk about it.
No, everything that he talked about, I read upon, and because there was like a lot of so I think almost everybody knows that, you know, Pac and Nas had somewhat of a, you know, they had an altercation. They weren't really banging with each other. You can call it beef, you definitely can, but it was like a one-sided beef, because Pac was more so the person talking more about Nas, and Nas like really had more respect. He felt some type of way, while Pac is just like, he didn't care anymore. Like he gave that ruthless aggression attitude. And like they were boys before that. They were like really cool. They was like close or whatever. But like once this whole beef happened and all this extra stuff, it was just like, you know, obviously our friendship had to be cut short. But you know, it was a good thing though to hear that afterwards they did kind of talk. They kind of talked, like, obviously before Pac's death, they talked about everything, and they were on better terms than they were beforehand. But with Suge, and, you know, just being Suge, Death Row being Death Row, I honestly don't think there was no reason for Death Row East at all whatsoever. Because especially when East and West Coast was still not doing anything. One, what was the purpose of... I know what the purpose of Death Row East was, but at the time, I don't feel like it was going to go anywhere. So they could have just kept Death Row where it was, continued building. Maybe, like, later down the line when the beef was clearly squashed, it's like, you know, and maybe do something with the East Coast. But, I don't know. Death Row East, to me, was honestly a disappointment. Like that, I'm talking about not the song.
The concept.
The concept of Death Row East was just a disappointment in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh, you mind if I bounce off him? And
Yeah,
go
ahead, bro.
Yeah. I definitely did something. I did learn something new, and that was the fact that Suge was trying to start the Death Row East. I did not know that. That was incredibly surprising to me.
Same.
Especially because of, like he said, the beef was going on. It was going crazy. So I feel like I'm not sure. There could be two reasons for him trying to start Death Row East. It could be one because he was maybe trying to squash the beef, which I honestly doubt. Or reason number two, he wanted to do it on both coasts and be like, yeah, we took over this whole shit. Right. So not even the East Coast, they have no choice but to, get on our side.
Right.
I'm not sure if it was trying to be a peaceful thing or more of a takeover thing. But that's one thing I learned, which was kind of surprising to me. Yeah. Just to explain a little backstory, Snoop actually talks about this story a lot, how Pac and Snoop and maybe a few other people, they actually met up with Nas and his brother Jungle, and I believe I forgot what park it was, but they were at some park, and it was kind of hostility, but Nas wasn't for that. Nas is not really a confrontational type of person. He never was, and he still isn't. So he was kind of trying to, show love and be respectful. Snoop says that Pac was on some shit like, yo, fuck you, like, I don't fuck you out, whatever. But Nas said it wasn't really like that. There was still some tension, obviously, but Nas said that was the situation. But after that, obviously, I don't know if you guys know about the picture they took. It was Pac, Nas. I'm not sure. I can't remember who else is in the picture. But they obviously made up. And the reason mostly that Tupac didn't fuck with Nas was because he thought Nas dissed him on his song The Message. Yeah. On his album it was written. Yeah. But Nas was just talking his shit. But around the time that song and album came out, the beef was at its height between the two coasts. So Tupac, he dissed them on a couple of tracks on the album Don Illuminati. But after they made up, Tupac actually said, yo, I'm going to take off some of those disses. But unfortunately, he passed away before that happened. So the song had to be left as it is. Yeah. So, but as far as my initial reactions to the song, I really enjoy it. I love hearing Nas's perspective of things because for the most part, he was pretty quiet on the whole situation. It didn't seem like something he wanted to delve into. Yeah. But just hearing about how they were trying to start Death Row East and how he was really trying to reconcile with Pac because that was one of his favorites, of course. And hearing how he was actually going to Vegas to meet up with Pac and to, work with him. And unfortunately, he passed away. Mm-hmm. So it was just interesting to hear his perspective. And I really enjoyed this song. And to me, it's probably the most important song on the album.
Yeah, I think if you've ever seen any of those shows that are like, trying to outline the beef between like Biggie and Tupac or Nas and Tupac and anything like that, like, just listen to this song. Honestly, it does such a good job of outlining a situation that was so shady. Like, it does it sometimes in some ways this song does a better job of outlining it than those shows do. Sometimes those shows are even skewed to view one perspective over another, whatever,
So that's why the word of the mouth is better.
Right, exactly. And if anything, like, watch those and then listen to this and you get another piece of the puzzle. Like, if you're trying to figure out what happened and the history behind it, this is just another piece of that puzzle. And I'm really glad that he revealed a lot of this to us. It really gives us a lot of information. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Nas flowed on it like, so easy. Like, water. Yeah, like, and then, bro, like, I don't know, man. His storytelling is just so. He's been doing it for so many years. It's just like, yeah.
As far as storytelling, he's the best out of ever to me.
Right. So I mean, he was able to portray emotion in this track through his storytelling, and so yeah, I mean, like I said, it's another piece of the puzzle. But if anything, this is a more vivid piece of the puzzle than some of those guys talking on TV. So
yeah,
I agree that this may be the most important song on the entire album.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a good one. Next track, EPMD 2. Of course, EPMD was on it.
Right.
And my guy, and Josh, being the big Eminem fan you are, I want you to talk about this song first, if you don't mind starting us off.
What else can I say? What else can we really say? Land Marshall came on the record. First off, I'm glad to hear that M and Nas are on the record.
It was long over,
way too long overdue.
Yeah. I mean, 15 years ago.
I wish it happened.
I wish it did too, but like primes. I heard they kind of had a little, a little misconception. Thing. Yeah, a little rocky thing with each other. Yeah. But like it wasn't serious. It wasn't serious to where like they both didn't like each other. It was just.
Right. It's always a publicity thing too. It's like the people make things so much bigger than it is.
And and this was also at the time when Jay and Nas had their big beef. So and obviously M and J was on the record. Cool. So it's, but he still didn't disrespect. So I appreciate that dearly. But like, what can we really say? M, he went on that record, killed it. Walked off.
He literally does what
exactly. There's like I can't say nothing else. He literally snapped. He did his thing. He just this is what gets on my nerves nowadays. People really still believe that. No, a lot of people just like really get at M for like still having his longevity, and it kind of gets on my nerves because he's, as time comes, just like Nas, he's adapted into the new world age music. And like what he's been putting out, like sorry to get a little off topic, but like his recent albums, such as going back to Kamikaze to Music to Be Murdered By, good albums. They're really good albums. It shows how he adapts to it now, and just listening to EPMD 2, it's just like he still got it. And he's still doing his thing. And one thing that kind of got to me from one thing I could really stick on is M went from overrated to overhated, and it's just it blows my mind to this day. Like sheesh, man, he's still killing it. Y'all just, I don't know, man. But other than that, Snap killed it. The whole record. EPMD, they did their thing as well. They were more cultural, and I respect that dearly because like it's like a mixture on that record, cultural, talking shit to killing it. It's like It's a good bounce off. Bounce off.
You literally said exactly what I wanted to say.
Oh.
Literally.
My bad, bro.
Nah, no, it's good. Like, we're thinking the same thing. Like, the different styles that they brought was incredible to me.
Yes.
Obviously, EPMD, they did their thing. They were talking about social justice, which I always love, of course. And then Nas was just talking shit like, y'all got bread, I'm flexing, like, I'm that nigga. And then you got M here, and he just spazzing with, of course, his normal rhyme scheme. And at like the first half of the verse, I was listening to it and I was like, it's cool. Like, I wasn't crazy about it, but then he got to a point, like the halfway point, where he just like lost his mind. And I was like, oh shit, he's going crazy. Yeah. And I really loved the segment where he was like talking about the legends. He was talking about the Wayne, the Drakes, the Nas, the Jays. He was talking about all those legends that he respected. Some people that were here before him, some people that were here after him. I really love the fact that he respects all generations, whether it's the newcomers, whether it's the older generation. And Eminem is one of those people that is not afraid to say, hey, this new guy, he's killing it. Right. Right. Because some people, how, I'm not going to get too much into it, but how sometimes there's a divide between the newer generation and the older generation. Yeah. The newer generation not really caring to knowledge themselves up on the older guys, and the older guys feeling like, this new generation, they're not appreciative or they're not really doing their thing. But Eminem is one of those legends that has no problem considering newer people legends, and I definitely respect that. And as far as the other verses, as usual, Nas did his thing. He was talking his mess, which I love, the way he was just flowing on there. And EPMD talking socially. I respect that a lot. I always like to hear that in music. So I just feel like this track as a whole was great.
Yeah.
Like,
for
all
sure.
Fronts.
Yeah. I'm glad I got to hear EPMD on a song in 2021. That shit's crazy. That's what I was
thinking too, but I was just like, hey, whatever.
Like, that shit's crazy. And then you think about who else is on the song, and you're just like, whoa. Like, what a just, I don't even want to say weird group of people, just what a in the year 2005 or the year 2000, like you would have never thought that these four people would be on a song together.
Yo.
And then produced by Hit Boy. Like,
yo.
none of this
oh
adds
my
up.
Goodness.
You know what I mean?
It don't, but it
generational.
Came,
right.
Yes, bro. It
and
came together so well,
and
bro.
it just works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
did,
it
man.
just works.
It did. I
So,
love it.
I'm glad like you said, just to be real quick with it, like, they all did what they do. Like, Nas flowed lyricism, right? EPMD, they talked about what they wanted to talk about.
Bro.
They made their messages clear, and they still did it like how they did old school. And then Eminem was very clear in his talking and had stupid ass lyricism, like
Exactly,
just
man.
like everything
Exactly.
went well on this track, I think.
Yes, bro. Yes.
Yeah, and the beat is just hard.
Yep.
It's one of the hardest beats on the album in my opinion.
We got to give Hit Boy his flowers right now, man.
Yeah.
To produce 2 quality albums in a row, gotta give respect to that guy, man. Track 3, Rare. I like that track so much because
I love the instrumental.
And if you guys don't mind, I start off because I really want to talk about this song right here.
Right ahead, bro.
He was spazzing.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to mention of the older rappers. A lot of the flows back in the day were a little old. And a little slow, like it's like so a lot of the older rappers, they have kind of a slow flow. Nowadays, obviously, you have certain rappers that kind of switch up their flows or whatever. And to me, Nas adapting to the newer generation and the newer sounding music, it's exemplified in this song right here, because he was spazzing, he was switching up his flows. He was doing crazy rhyme scheme. He was really doing his thing. As far as performance-wise, maybe not the best song, but as far as like his performance, I think he did the best on this song. Yeah. It may not be the best song on the album per se, but just the way he delivered, the way he flowed, to me, is his best. And then the whole beat switch up, where it kind of went back to his older style. It was just it was such a great song.
Stupid, bro. I
it was
heard
just such a great song.
Man, I was like, oh, this sample.
Yeah,
the first beat is I probably prefer over the second, but I do love both.
Yeah,
and I just love how.
Beat, yeah, definitely.
They're both hard.
Yeah,
of course, no matter what.
What else can you say?
Yeah.
But the way he just literally, it was like a flip of a coin. The first beat was a little more fast paced. He was flowing, switching it up. And the second beat came in and he slowed it down. He was just talking the shit. It was just a great performance all around on that song.
Yeah, that setup was dope. It was great.
Yeah.
No complaints. No complaints on that record.
Yeah, but as far as significance, I don't think this record has too much. Is there anything you guys want to say about it, or do you want to keep moving?
This is definitely more of a like, boom, here's my skills. Like, that's Nas.
Yeah, that's
like
it.
that's what this
That's
song
all it
is.
is.
Like try and show me up on this, you can't. Like that.
Exactly.
Exactly.
What I will say is, shouts out to the Mets hat.
Shouts out to the Mets hat that he shouts out in the song.
Oh yeah.
I fuck with that.
Listen, man, I don't watch baseball like that, but
You said Mets hat on the
this a
back.
Yankee State, man. This is a Yankee State at the end of the day.
Hey, bro, I'm just glad. I don't know. I'm gonna give a shout out real quick to an artist coming up from Queens, AJ Radico, always wearing Mets hats. I'm just glad there's Mets hats in rap music at all, bro.
Yeah, because it was full on Yankee.
Yeah, especially with Hov and stuff. The way he popularized this.
But like, you see all the people come out of Queens.
Yeah,
like that's all the people who.
Because the Mets Stadium is in Queens, right?
Yeah, City Field.
They're always Queen. They always been like from Queens.
Yeah.
So, just that's it for me. Just that shout out.
Yeah. You got anything you want to say about the track, or you want?
No, just your full on opinion, bro. Exactly how I feel. It's dope.
Next track, Store Run. I really like this one. It was another song where Nas was kind of talking his shit. There was a specific line that I really wanted to talk about. I want you guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
So he said, people battered down, Asian hate getting passed around, Tiger happy, both his parents' lives matter now. The reason that line is so significant to me is, so Tiger Woods, he's like 10 different races. That shit's crazy. He's black, he's white, he's Asian, he's Native American. He's like 10 different things. And so are his parents. But now one of the criticisms he has received over the years is that he doesn't seem to acknowledge his blackness. So now where this line comes in is that obviously you guys know there was a span of like 2 or 3 months where Asian people were getting attacked for no reason.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole COVID thing and the stigma with Asians having it.
And the Lunar New Year came around at the same exact time. It was just a terrible time.
Yeah, it was a really bad time for Asians. Now, they passed a bill, the Stop Asian Hate bill, of course. So if you attack an Asian for no reason, you could get some serious time. Now, why people were happy with that, obviously, because they're not being attacked anymore. But now we black people, we felt a little backhanded because we were spreading Black Lives Matter for years. And everybody was like, yo, what are y'all doing? What about All Lives Matter? Like, All Lives Matter, what about this and that? But now Stop Asian Hate came around and nobody was like, yo, what about all hate?
Right.
What about this? And now it took a span of a few months for a bill to pass.
Yeah.
And now black people, we're still getting the short end of the stick, you know? And it was kind of Nas, kind of a shot to Tiger Woods because he's not acknowledging his blackness. He's more so saying like, yeah, I'm Asian, there's nothing wrong with that. Acknowledge your culture, but acknowledge all of it, not parts of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, how do you guys feel about that line specifically? Oh, if you want to go ahead.
I think it's a powerful line. Could you repeat it for me real quick?
Yeah, no problem. People battered down, Asian hate getting passed around. Tiger happy, both his parents' lives matter now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a line that shows a gripe, a gripe that is, you know, it might not be something that appears on the news. It might not be something that appears, but it would be something that you would read on forums, like personal forums, and if you talk to people personally, it might be something that they have a gripe with. So I think it's important. It's an important aspect of, you know, that whole situation that never came around, that never was highlighted in major parts of the news, never highlighted here or there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Nas I think the most important thing he's doing here is reminding people. It's not that he's specifically notifying them about this. It's like people have already felt this. They're just reminding people that, like, hey, you know, like, everyone's voice matters. And in this case, we can't be excluding one person because they've been saying it for blah, blah, blah this long. You know, here's a reminder that just as important as what happened earlier this year did, like, this shit is not done. It's not done happening. And, you know, we have to find something to do something about it. And it's not, you know, it won't take just us. It takes more than just one type of person, more than just one person in one state, more than just, you know, it takes everyone to come together and do that stuff. So,
I definitely feel how you feel. It's obviously a very touchy topic to, you know, discuss. No matter who is talking about it, we could definitely feel enraged. We could definitely feel calm. We could feel whatever. I just feel as if that specifically, if that, like we are, like you said, we do really get the short end of the stick, no matter what. So it's like, if something like that is gonna happen, you'll have people that are either gonna get enraged, back out, and just like, oh, so if this is what our lives mean to you while we're still fighting, and then them, they get everything within 2-3 months span. It's like, okay, cool, I guess we'll just back up. But then there's the others that are like motivated by like, yo, all right, cool, they got their respect within 2 to 3 months. Even though we've been fighting for years, we could continue on to fight no matter how bad, you know, no matter how long it's taking, no matter how bad. Because, like, we've been fighting for centuries after centuries. And it's like it's like, yo, yeah, we haven't seen our, you know, legitimate freedom yet. But, like, yo, look at how far we have came by showing our, you know, showing how we are, how quickly we are to put our foot down to a lot of things. And we're like, yo, this is us. We're gonna continue fighting no matter what. So that's how I'm viewing it. That's my view. We're either gonna continue fighting or back down. And obviously, I'm with the mindset of like, yo, let's keep going. Yeah, let's keep going, bro. We're not done yet, and we will never be done. And obviously, they're not gonna be done either because they have like a lot of stuff still going on their end. So yeah, no matter what, we're all gonna put in the fight. Mainly us.
The world is going to be fucked up for another 100 years at least. Because of the people that exist, throughout the world. They're still going to have kids and teach them their terrible ideals anyways. Mm-hmm. So it'll take time, and it'll take a lot of people coming together, a lot of people changing their minds, which a lot of hard minds to change, but all we can do is keep trying and
we got to understand it's I'm going to move on into the next song obviously, but we got to understand this is over 400 years of history.
It's 2021, man.
You can't erase 400 years of history. If we're being realistic, change does not happen overnight.
Right.
Honestly, it might never change, or if it does change, it's going to be centuries from now. Because slavery started in the 1600s. It got abolished in the 1800s. And then you had Jim Crow laws. You had segregation. You have mass incarceration. This shit doesn't stop. So that's 400 years of history. It can't be erased in 20, 30 years. It's going to take a very long time. And we still have work to do, like he said. But there's nothing we can do but just keep going,
Exactly.
So, next track, Nobody featuring Lauryn Hill. Man, social media was in a frenzy over her verse. She went crazy, yo. Bro. And I'm glad she had this verse because it reminded people, this is who she is. Yep. Yeah. Still, to this day.
Man.
Yeah.
I was so energetic. That verse got me so energetic to be like, yo, wait a minute. She's back on the record? What?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she's still showing she got so much to still prove, no matter what. She came on the record, did her thing. That Matrix line is still stuck in my head.
Actually have the line. And it's funny that you say that. I want to talk about that line.
Yeah,
you could go ahead and continue.
Line. I mean, it was a little, light, but the way that, obviously she said it is definitely up there. But yeah, she, obviously Nas did this thing too, but, come on, the real topic of discussion is Lauryn.
Bro, that...
I feel like he kind of gave her that space.
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
glad he did.
I feel like he was like, yo, you know what, just do your thing, sis. Just go off.
I think the Lauryn Hill verse is my favorite verse on the album. It has nothing to do with the verse itself. It's just the fact that Lauryn Hill has a verse on Nas album. It was so clean though. With saying that, I love hearing her. You could hear that she's aged a little bit in tone.
Yeah.
But in terms of her writing ability and talking and rapping and timing, no, she is still where she was at. And she will continue to be there until, whenever. I hope she comes out with I don't know. I hope she comes out with anything.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
It's good.
Definitely she went crazy on this. And people forget, Lauryn Hill is, one of the best female rappers ever. Lauryn Hill is one of the best rappers ever. That includes the dudes.
Yes.
So let's not play disrespect because she's a woman and pretend like she don't got mic skills to compare with some of the best.
She's ridiculous.
That lady's a legend.
She was the best member of the Fugees, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Even the other members, Wyclef and Pras. Even Wyclef and Pras would probably agree with that Lauryn Hill was probably the best member of the Fugees.
Did that thing, man.
Now, I'm glad that you mentioned the Matrix line. She said something after that I wanted to discuss. So she said, my awareness like Keanu in the Matrix, I'm saving souls and y'all complaining about my lateness. So just a backstory on that. Lauryn Hill has been notoriously known for being late at all of her shows. Sometimes she's 2 hours late, sometimes she's 3 hours late. Sometimes there was one point I heard she was 4 hours late.
I actually do recall this.
Damn.
Yeah.
4 hours.
There's been some times where she's been so late that she doesn't even finish her set because the venue has to close down. That's how late she is. Now, her argument is that, okay, I'm trying to enlighten y'all. I'm doing this music to spread a message and to open people's eyes, and y'all are complaining that I'm a couple hours late. What's the big deal if I'm presenting this show to you? That's kind of what I feel like she's saying, but how do you guys feel about that perspective now?
I feel as if I don't know, because I feel as if what you said, how she the lateness part, I feel. Here's how I feel. Here's how I say I feel. When it comes to her, with that whole lateness thing, I feel as if she's not bothered with, hyping up a crowd or, being there for, like, fans and publicity, all that extra stuff. I feel as if she just does the music to spread her mind, to spread her mindset, to spread how she genuinely feels about a lot of things that she puts into her music. It's like, it's not really more so about, all right, yeah, I'm going to be there live to spread my music. Yeah, cool. You already hear my message from me writing it. I don't really care whether or not if I'm there live to, promote or do my message out there. Like, nah, it's just you hear my message now, you hear my message, so be it.
Right.
Like, that's the thing. Like, I always heard, like, when I always, like, envisioned, like, us being on stage or so, like, just, or, doing live concerts, sometimes I felt like in certain songs that I would write, it feels like I don't really need to do this live. If you hear my message and you understand my message clearly through what I'm already saying in my record, I don't really think you need to hear it live unless, like, you really want to, or unless I really feel as if
But if that's the case, then why have a show in the first place?
That's a good question.
And I wanna just address this real quick. Lauryn Hill, like I said, one of the greatest rappers ever. She's a legend, talented in all aspects of music.
Yeah.
But to be 4 hours late to a show, no matter how good you are or no matter how talented you are, is unacceptable. That's unacceptable.
That is.
Imagine standing there 4 hours waiting for somebody. You're probably hungry. You're probably dehydrated. That shit's unacceptable.
What's funny is, like, when you say unacceptable, I think one of the things that is so easily avoided is lateness. Like, you know for a fact that it wasn't traffic that she was 4 hours late.
Yeah.
No way traffic will make you 4 hours late.
4 hours late, bro.
You could have walked and still been there before 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah. This almost reminds me of, do you guys know how MF Doom used to perform? Like, sometimes he would send people out that wasn't him.
Yeah.
Didn't he
send Hannibal Buress at one point?
Yes.
People were tight.
Oh my goodness.
People were tight about that.
And that's kind of like a part of his character. It works because it's like Doom.
It's him.
Doom is a villain that, like, fucks with people, blah blah blah, this and that. Like, he's the anti-rapper kind of, right? Lauryn Hill. This just to go along with being lateness is not acceptable point, like. Think about how many people show up to a Lauryn Hill concert and, like, if she was on time, that potentially could have been one of the best moments of their lives, like, uplifting, like, it could have touched them on another level, right? But they left after waiting 2 hours, and Lauryn Hill still didn't show up for another 2 hours after they left. Like, that's the part of it that I don't know if I can, like, if I can see as, like, excusable. The fact that not the fact that you have to appeal to fans, but the fact that you have to appeal to people that literally take your word as knowledge. Yeah. Like, that's more than a fan. That's like somebody who literally looks up to you.
Because that's the thing. If you're trying to spread your word, why would you create the opportunity for people to miss it? You know?
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that point at all. There's nothing wrong. Well, okay, there is something wrong with being late, but it's a difference between being 30 minutes late and being 4 hours late. Right. That is insane. Like, that is nuts. Do you know how long 4 hours is, bro? That's like 2 movies.
Nah, bro.
That is insane. 4 hours is insane. Yeah. Do you know how much shit you could do in 4 hours? 4 hours.
That's like 4
hours.
That's rough.
Like 4 hours. Do you understand how long 4 hours is, bro?
That's like 4 streaming service episodes or some shit.
Like,
bro.
That is mad.
You could literally have a party, like, throw up, pass out, and come back to life in 4 hours.
Yes. Literally, like, that shit is insane. That shit is not acceptable.
That's why.
But as far as the overall song, fire. But I wanted to talk about that line specifically, hear your guys' opinion. The final track I want to talk about real quick because we got to wrap up. Composure. Hit Boy was on a feature, and I really like that he was on here because Hit Boy he's all talented, crazy producer, and he could do his thing on the mic too. So I really like that he was on this song too. I think it was the second to last song, so I really like how he was on the tail end of it to kind of give it a nice wrap up. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just Well, I was expecting a song that he was gonna be on in this whole album. I was like, if he's producing the whole album and he's been boys with Nas for forever, he has to be on a song. So
Yeah.
I'm glad he was on the song that he was on, and I'm glad that I'm honestly his production over this whole album was ridiculous. So
Crazy.
big shouts out to him.
Yeah, definite. So it was just good.
Yeah.
It was just all around good.
So, one quick question about this album now. Is it better than King's Disease 1? That's the main thing
Yeah.
that I was trying to figure out.
I'll let you talk about the verdict, cause
Okay. At first, I said no, because the main thing... Okay, so let me highlight the similarities and differences first. So, King's Disease, the first one, there was a lot of modern sounding beats. They were way more modern, and there was a lot of more modern sounding hooks, a lot of modern features. There were people that you would think Nas would never work with. Don was on there, Don Toliver, Big Sean. I expected Big Sean. I'm not surprised with the Big Sean feature. Lil Durk was on there.
Yeah, that's
Anderson
what I was
Paak
thinking,
was
Lil
on
Durk.
there.
Yeah.
Fabio was on there. Ferg was
Yeah.
on there. So as far as like versatility musically and just a modern appeal, King's Disease got that. But to me, King's Disease 2, the beats were a little more downscaled. Not in quality as far as like the sound of it.
like grandiosity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a little more lower on scale.
Yeah.
And I feel like Nas, he really upped it on this album. The first album to me was like, okay, I can do new stuff too. The second album to me was like, yo, I still got it. I can still rap. So those are the big differences in the albums to me. Now, at first, I did say that I wasn't sure. I was like, man, King's Disease, I really like King's Disease because especially, like I said, the versatility and the fact that he had a modern sound.
Right.
But everything else on King's Disease 2, the lyrical ability, the knowledge he was spreading. Granted, there was some of that in the first one, but the second one, he just took it to a whole nother level. He just did everything better. Like, as far as rapping, he just did it all better. So to me, as an overall product, King's Disease 2 is better. But I guess you can say 1 is more appealing, if you want to say that. But I think 2 is better.
Yeah, no, 2 is better. 2 is better. I think it's because I enjoyed the features and the production a little more better than I did on King's Disease 1. I think that's how it is. And obviously, I think the part 2 said the biggest takeaway was Lauryn Hill, so that like would upscale it more. The feature the Hit Boy actually had a verse. I don't know. It just felt so. I don't know. It just felt like a better production status, and just everything that was put into part 2 felt a little better than part 1. I'm not saying part 1 was trash. No,
Right.
Yeah.
part 1 was great. Like that's him showing his modern stuff, but I don't know. Part 2 kind of hits me a little more.
Yeah, I get
Even
that.
the records that we didn't talk about that I listened to.
Yeah. All of the fire. These are just the ones I wanted to talk about
Yeah,
specifically.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I view it. I personally say part 2 is better.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll just give my verdict of this album because I'm not as knowledgeable on part 1. But like,
Yeah, it was
what I could tell about this album is Nas was almost like the brain of this project. Like everything that he wanted happened on this project, and it didn't sound like he had to force it out. That's the thing, because I think a lot of people's complaints with Nas, like we've said, is like his adaptability and just the fact of like, does it sound like he's forcing this flow? Does it sound like he's forcing himself over this beat?
Yeah.
Nothing on this album sounded forced. It sounded nice and clean. It sounded, refined, and I'm just glad. I'm glad I got to experience, an Nas album this personal to him.
Yep.
In 2021.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I guess that's the verdict. We feel like King's Disease 2 is just better. It's not a big difference to me. I feel like if 1 is here, then 2 is probably like here.
Yeah.
But I do feel
that's
like it's an overall product.
Fine.
Yep. All right. This might be the last thing we talk about. Usually we talk about at least 3 topics, but being that each of these topics are going to take a long time, we're going to keep it to 2.
Okay.
Being from New York, we could not avoid talking about
We have
this
to talk
right
about
here.
this.
The Lox versus Dipset Verzuz battle.
What a match.
So, two questions.
Yeah.
What were you guys expecting before the Verzuz? And how did you feel about it after the Verzuz? You want to go ahead?
You want to go first?
I'll go. Yeah. I mean, I think a common theme with a lot of people that I talk to is, and just me personally, is I know more Dipset bangers. Like, they have more bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like more radio hits. And I think they
yeah.
even mentioned that during it, that they have more radio hits.
Mm-hmm.
That does not matter against the
In
Lox.
this one,
That does not matter.
You know,
so what a lot of people predicted did not happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm gonna say about that? Just real quick, and I'm gonna let y'all continue. If it was like they were doing it first, because they started it right in the middle of COVID, so everybody was home. They were just doing their thing. If they were home doing it, I feel like it would have made a difference.
Different story, yeah.
Because then you just have to judge just by the music.
Right.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Lox had the performance stage, I feel like that's what made it go from, I don't know, to, like, okay, they got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I feel like I personally felt from the jump that to me the Lox was gonna take it, because I'm more of a Lox person than Dipset. I grew up on both.
I get that.
Yeah,
I love both. Like,
I could see anyone liking one over the other. Like, there's reasons to like one over the other.
Exactly. But I had more Jadakiss on my side than I had, like, more of a Cameron or Jewels and all of them. Like, they have their good hits. Like, Hey Ma is one of my personal favorite hits.
What's
shit. Yeah, like that shit. I fucks with heavy.
I think they played that.
Of course,
yeah,
they did.
Yeah.
Come on now, but when it came like to like really listening to both of them, like, yo, the Lox was like really there for me, really. Like, Jadakiss is I can't remember now. Top 5 that I lost, some shit like that. I can't remember. But yeah, like, that was like my first legit album listening. I was like, oh shit. Like, I was a little nigga saying, oh shit, like, what? But yeah, man, like, Styles, all the niggas, like, yo, their records impacted me more than Dipset's records.
I get it.
Yeah, like, it's just straight up.
Because it's more, they're way more bar heavy.
Yeah.
That's what we
exactly.
like.
They're so, I don't want to say that Dipset isn't gritty, but the Lox are gritty. Like, they get really gritty.
Hell yeah.
So, and I think that helps on a stage like this, being gritty. Like, you're in Brooklyn, like, you're in New York, you're in, you got everyone from everywhere in New York is like coming together and is there.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be all types of gritty. Like, I think they just embodied all of that in that Verzuz battle, bro. Jadakiss was all over the stage, bro.
And yes, a little known fact, they used it, for anybody that doesn't know, obviously. My grandmother's from Brownsville, rest in peace her soul. And from time to time, they would be hanging out over there. I never really noticed it as a kid.
She was hanging out with...
No.
Oh, I was about to say. I was like, your grandma was hanging out with Jada and shit?
No. What it was is that they were time by time, she would pass and notice them. She did notice them. Because she knew about them. And they took a lot of pictures, and they would chill like 2 blocks away from her apartment. So yeah, like, every single time I look at certain pictures, I'm like, yo, that's literally 2 blocks away from where my grandmother.
Why you ain't show me these pictures, bro?
That's crazy.
You have them still?
No. I don't have them at all. I think everything is like gone now. I don't. But I know for a fact.
You gotta find the pictures, bro.
They have to be online. Bro. I know they have to be online, because I know for a fact I've seen a good amount of pictures of them just chilling on the block, like 2 blocks away from our apartment building. And like, when I noticed it, I was like, oh shit. Damn, I wish I was older, bro. Like,
yeah.
I would have went out there and be like, oh shit, it's a Lox where? Oh shit.
Like, people didn't know, like, I don't know. They did, but at the same time, like, how many people went up to them when they were that young and be like, yo, it's the Lox.
Was that around the time when they were just starting?
No. It was like when they were getting bigger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It was still like,
sense.
where everybody was still putting them as underrated. Yeah.
So here's what I'm gonna say. Well, before the verses, my dumbass had Dipset. And that's because of the hits that I mentioned. To me, Dipset had more hits, but there were three main reasons why the Lox took this versus to me. It was one, as individual talents, the Lox is better than Dipset. I don't think that's debatable. Like, let's say if you want to go head to head, Jada's better than Cam to me. Styles is better than Jewel's.
Hell yeah.
Chic is better than Jim Jones. Yeah. So it's like, as individual talents, there are better rappers. Yeah. Number two was the performances. And I feel like Dipset, I don't know, man. Dipset really just was not performing.
So how do you feel about what the Lox was saying throughout the whole time of they came with instrumentals, meanwhile Dipset came with their whole songs, like they played? Do you think it mattered at all that like the Lox performed over songs that had no lyrics on them, and Dipset performed over songs that had, like, they were the full songs including their vocals?
I don't think that makes a difference. Like, I don't think you performing over an instrumental makes it better than somebody performing over the song. But for the most part, Dipset wasn't performing at all. The only one that was really like, the only one that was really out there was Cam.
Yeah.
And if you notice, a lot of them, it seemed like they forgot their words. They weren't even performing. Like Jewel's and Jim Jones, they weren't even really performing.
That was a thing, like, that was what Jadakiss was saying, like, though they were playing their whole songs, including their vocals, so they didn't talk much in the mic. They just said, like, the end of the verses sometimes, like the end of their words.
I don't think that makes a difference. I just feel like them not performing
their personal effort,
even if it was over an instrumental, even if it was over the actual song, that doesn't matter to me. I just feel like they should have performed better. Right. There was no organization, and that leads into my reason number 3. I feel like the Lox have way more and way better features. And that was a big difference maker, because the Lox have songs with everybody. They got songs with Big, rest in peace. They got songs with DMX, rest in peace. They got songs.
They were playing big songs.
Jada played that song with Ja and Fat Joe, New York. Like, they were playing, and I feel like Dipset might have forgot that, but you can play features too. That's part of the thing. So the features really made a difference to me. And then, like, Jada, like, I don't know what else to say about Jadakiss. Like, this man had 54 points, like 16 assists, 12 rebounds.
He had a quadruple double.
5 blocks, man. 10 steals.
So it was MVP
0 turnovers. Like, that shit was crazy. He was all over.
The game, man.
And that was another thing.
He played every minute.
Yep.
Yeah. Bro, I don't know, man. You saw Tyler, the Creator? You saw what Tyler, the Creator said about him?
Yeah.
He was like, I got a crush on Jada.
Bro, this nigga Tyler.
And he goes, yo, bro, it's not even this. It's just his confidence. But I like, not that I'm on the same fucking, level as that shit, but, like, I can see where Jadakiss is, like, his embodiment of rap and all that shit, like, comes from his confidence. Like, he was so... Dude, he would not take back a single word he said on that stage, bro. Like,
and it's funny, because I feel like people only from New York, you could talk that disrespectfully and still be cool after. Right. Like, people be throwing Franks all around. They be like, yo, suck my dick. All that stuff. And then at the end, they be like, all right, bro. Like, like, that shit's crazy.
Bro, that shit is wild to me, bro. That shit is wild to me.
Nah, but, like, to put to your point, like, even Jadakiss was pointing out, he's like, yo, I thought this was hip hop. Like, I thought this, it's like, they're not even rapping. They're not even, like, he was just going straight at it. And you could see, like Cam was, like, you could see, like, the saltiness on one half of the stage. Like, you could really see the saltiness. You could hear it, too, honestly. There were times where I was like, you saying what you're saying to try and get back to him?
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Come on,
it was, what just to make a long story short, even though I just told the whole story, Jadakiss was, you could see he was getting under the skin of a lot of people in Dipset. Like he was really getting under their skin, getting in there, and it affected them and it affected the way that they performed.
And and the Lox just had a sense of unity, man.
Right.
Jada was hyping, even when Jada wasn't rapping, he was hyping up Sheek.
Yes.
He was hyping up Styles. He was saying their words in the background.
Yes.
Jada was even saying some of Dipset's words.
Yeah.
There were points where Dipset wasn't even rapping along to their own songs, and Jada was rapping along to it.
Yeah.
The opponent is rapping along to you. That's a problem.
That is
a problem
right there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're not even performing your songs like that, then that's no bueno.
Yeah.
Big shouts out to Jadakiss, man.
Yeah, man. And it's just like, that's hip hop, man.
Yeah.
Like Jada said, just hip hop, and it just goes back to just how hip hop is so influential. It goes to everything. That's the core essence of hip hop. Just the way they're able to control the crowd.
Yeah.
That's why
it's so raw.
That's why they're called MCs. For those who don't know what MCs mean, it means a master of ceremonies. That means when you're going to the performances, you're doing everything. You're rapping well, you're projecting yourselves, and you're controlling the crowd.
Right.
The Lox showed the difference between being a rapper, I'm just doing this because I want to get money.
Right.
Or, not to say that Dipset's like that, but they're just showing the difference between somebody that just raps just because, this is cool and I want to get a bag, and somebody that does it for the love, somebody that does it for the passion, somebody that studies the game. There's a huge difference. They really showed how to control the crowd, how to control the room, and like big just shout outs to the Lox, man. Like they really did their thing.
Right.
Yeah, so big shout outs to the Lox, big shout out to Dipset, of course, also. It was just, to me anyway, if Dipset kind of came differently, I don't know, I'm not sure if the Lox rehearsed or if they did anything like that, but it felt very rehearsed.
Yeah.
It felt like they were throwing on a show.
Yeah.
And Dipset, to me, it just felt like they were like, we're going to go up there, we're going to sing our tracks, whatever. Which they barely did in the first place.
Right.
So that was really a big difference maker between.
Yeah. Shows you the closeness of the people in the Lox, too. Like, they are that close. Like, they know each other's shit, and we don't know if they actually did it, but they may be close enough to have actually rehearsed it.
And
so,
I'm glad that you said that, because Dipset, they actually had some quite falling outs. Whether it was over money, whether it was artistic differences, they fell out for a few years, and I think people forgot that. So, the Lox just have a different level of chemistry. Mm-hmm. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah. Wait, why are you looking at me?
I wanted you to say something because I didn't want us to talk too long.
Oh, no. I feel like I done said it. I'm good. I'm good, bro. I'm good on this. Everything that was said, I definitely agree with. Mm-hmm. Lox just everything was good, man.
Yeah, so
like how M said, give Jada a kiss. He did good. He did good, bro. Everything was great.
Yeah, but I was really glad to see that, and I hope we have a lot of more New York type of verses like that.
I hope there's a revival of some sorts in hip hop in terms of MCs being MCs. I hope based on this, people want to go as hard as Jadakiss went in this.
I hope so too.
So I was thinking too.
I hope he sets the example.
Yeah. And that's a direction we kind of embody, because the hits are cool. You want the hits. You want hits. You want club bangers. You want all that. But you also want to embody the essence of hip hop, and it's like I said, controlling the crowd, controlling the room, having the ability to really rap well. All that goes hand in hand. And these are the people I look up to, and I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect the newer artists or whatever, but that's not what I embody anyway. Cause I grew up on the older guys because of my older brothers. That's what they listen to.
Yes,
so
bro,
they put me on that. So that's what I want to embody.
Bro.
And yeah.
All right, we want to wrap up?
I think so.
4:36.
Might as well.
This was a good episode.
This
guys.
was a really
good episode.
Fantastic.
Even though we only talked about two things, but I feel like
still with the main topics and whatever.
Yeah, they're very important.
Yeah.
This is definitely gonna be our longest episode.
Yeah.
Because we said that in the last episode, but this eclipses it by far.
Hell yeah.
I'm hoping episode 5 is not this long because.
We'll look at this.
This is an important episode.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's important in terms of hip hop history. So I'm glad we got this episode.
because there's a lot of history that involves with Nas and the Lox. It all centers around history. This feels like a history lesson.
Yeah.
Kind of episode. Yeah. Hip hop.
Yeah,
history.
I'm glad we got this. And if you made it this far, thank you so much.
Yo, you're the GOAT.
Yo, if you made it,
I appreciate that.
After editing, this might be close to or around an hour. If you made it this far, thank you so much. You have no idea what this means to us. Seriously.
It's genuine. I appreciate that a lot. We appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, man.
And of course, like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
Episode 5 will be out not too long after this, so stay tuned, please. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you made it this far. Thank you if you did.
Thank you very much.
You guys have any closing thoughts? Anything about Nas? Anything about the Lox? Anything about Dipset? Or anything about anything?
Yeah, you mind if I actually go off script? I just want to give a quick shout out to my boy Steven. Happy birthday, belated birthday. And my cousin, whose birthday is today of recording this. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Got some real ones.
I got
Happy
Steve.
Birthday. Yeah.
Oh, you got anything to say?
No, I'm glad we talked about what we could talk about today, and I hope that you guys take some of this with you. If you're artists, I hope you take some of this advice with you, and use these examples, because we're living in history. We're always living in history. What is happening now is history later. So whatever you can pick up in terms of knowledge, pick it up. Yeah. And I hope you enjoyed.
Yeah. Just you went off topic, so I guess I'll get off topic.
Right.
Just want to give a big RP to my guy Reef. I wore a shirt. I don't know if anybody noticed.
Peace,
Passed away sometime last week, so I really wanted to rep him, put his shirt on, show him love. Always big love to his friends, his family. That was my guy, of course. So rest in peace to him, and it's not goodbye. Of course, it's see you later. That's what they always tell me. So if you're watching, just know that your family, your friends, and me, of course, will always embody what you embodied. We'll always rep you. You will always live forever.
Yes, rest in peace.
So that's about it, guys. Think we should wrap up now.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So
everything in the description, of course.
For sure.
Merch, our socials, and all that other important stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. We out of here, guys.
Yep.
All right, y'all.
Peace out.
Have a good one.
Self-Spoken Law here.
OddwOrld.
Brotegé.
All right. Self-Spoken Podcast here, and we are out.
Deuces.
Back at it again. Hocus pocus got the magic again. Told your brother he is whacked with the pen. Coca-Cola, how you guessing your friend? No some foes that put against your chin. Hold up, he is blacking again. Fuck around, he gon' flip a fool like a Motorola. You ain't challenging him. I'm hitting them, killing them. It's crazy and Max ain't stiffing the minimum. Watch how I get rid of them. I'm spitting this fire to hell's where I'm sending them.